The Earth's polar regions, vast, unforgiving, mysterious, these icy landscapes have beckoned explorers for centuries. One name echoes through the annals of polar exploration: Roald Amundsen, a Norwegian explorer of unparalleled skill and determination. From the Northwest Passage to the South Pole, he conquered the frozen frontiers of our planet. But Amundsen's story is not just one of triumph. In 1928, at the height of his career, Amundsen vanished into the Arctic wilderness. What happened to Roald Amundsen? Join us as we delve into the life and disappearance of this polar legend. Prepare to be captivated by the tale of Roald Amundsen, a man who challenged the limits of human endurance and forever etched his name in the history of exploration. Roald Amundsen's story is a testament to the power of human ambition. He dared to dream big, to push the boundaries of what was considered possible. His achievements inspired generations of explorers and continue to ignite our imaginations today. But Amundsen's story also reminds us of the humbling power of nature. The Arctic, in all its stark beauty, can be a cruel and unforgiving mistress. By piecing together the fragments of evidence, we can attempt to reconstruct the final chapter of Amundsen's extraordinary life. Join us on this journey of discovery as we navigate the icy labyrinth of history and seek to unravel the enduring mystery of Roald Amundsen's disappearance. Roald Amundsen was born in Norway in 1872. From a young age, he was drawn to tales of polar exploration. He devoured books about Arctic expeditions. Amundsen possessed an unyielding determination. He honed his skills in the harsh Norwegian winters. By his early 20s, Amundsen was already a seasoned adventurer. His first major expedition was as first mate on a Belgian Antarctic expedition from 1897 to 1899. This experience solidified his passion for polar exploration. Amundsen was meticulous in his planning, learning from the successes and failures of previous explorers. This meticulous approach would become his trademark. The Northwest Passage, a sea route through the Arctic archipelago of North America, had long been a goal for explorers. It was a treacherous route fraught with dangers. Many had tried to navigate it. Many had failed. In 1903, Amundsen set sail in his ship, the Gjøa, determined to conquer the Northwest Passage. The journey was arduous, battling through ice-choked channels and fierce storms. Amundsen and his crew persevered, spending 2 winters frozen in the ice. They used the time to learn from the local Inuit people, adopting their clothing and hunting techniques. Finally, in 1906, the Gjøa emerged from the Arctic archipelago. Amundsen had successfully navigated the Northwest Passage. It was a historic achievement, cementing Amundsen's reputation as one of the world's leading polar explorers. With the conquest of the Northwest Passage behind him, Amundsen set his sights on an even greater prize, the South Pole. At the time, the South Pole remained the last uncharted continent on Earth. Reaching it had become the ultimate goal for polar explorers. A British expedition led by Robert Falcon Scott was also planning a South Pole attempt. Amundsen, ever the strategist, made a crucial decision. He kept his true destination a secret, initially announcing another Arctic expedition. And this secrecy was partly to avoid competition and to secure funding. In 1911, Amundsen and his team set sail for Antarctica aboard the Fram. They landed at the Bay of Whales on the Ross Ice Shelf. their starting point for the arduous journey ahead. The race to the South Pole was truly on. Amundsen knew that reaching the South Pole would require meticulous planning. He chose his team carefully, selecting men with proven experience in polar conditions. They would rely on dog sleds for transportation, a decision that would prove critical. Amundsen's base camp, Framheim, was strategically positioned to provide the most efficient route to the South Pole. He established supply depots along the planned route, ensuring his team would have access to food and fuel. Every detail, from the design of the sleds to the selection of their dogs, was carefully considered. Amundsen's meticulous preparations would be tested like never before as they ventured into the heart of Antarctica. The stage was set for a historic journey. The race to the South Pole was a grueling test of human endurance. Amundsen and his team faced treacherous crevasses, blinding blizzards, and unimaginable temperatures. Yet they pressed on, their determination fueled by ambition and national pride. On December 14, 1911, Roald Amundsen and his team achieved their monumental goal. They stood victorious at the South Pole, the first human beings to ever reach this remote corner of the Earth. Tragically, Scott and his team reached the South Pole weeks later, only to find the Norwegian flag already planted. Demoralized and weakened, Scott and his men perished on their return journey. The race to the South Pole had come at a high cost, a stark reminder of the ever-present dangers of exploration. Amundsen's conquest of the South Pole solidified his place as a legend in the annals of exploration, yet his thirst for adventure and discovery remained unquenched. In 1918, he embarked on an ambitious expedition aboard his new ship, the Maud, aiming to drift across the Arctic Ocean trapped in the ice pack. Despite numerous challenges, Amundsen remained committed to exploration. In 1926, he achieved another milestone by leading the first successful airship flight over the North Pole. It was during this period that Amundsen received a desperate plea for help that would set in motion the events leading to his final fateful expedition. The stage was set for a dramatic turn of events. The year was 1928. Roald Amundsen, the conqueror of the South Pole, received a desperate plea for help from Umberto Nobile, an Italian engineer and airship designer. Nobile had led an expedition to the North Pole in his airship, the Italia. The mission had been a success, but disaster struck on the return journey. The airship crashed on the Arctic ice pack north of Svalbard. Nobile and his crew were stranded, their airship crippled, their fate uncertain. The news of the Italia disaster sent shockwaves through the world. Amundsen, despite his age and the risks involved, did not hesitate. He considered it his duty to help fellow explorers in need. He was prepared to face the dangers of the Arctic once again. Amundsen immediately began organizing a rescue mission. He secured a French seaplane, the Latham 47, for the attempt. On June 18, 1928, Amundsen and a 5-man crew took off from Tromsø, Norway, heading into the vast Arctic wilderness. The world watched and waited for news. Days turned into weeks. The Latham 47 vanished into the Arctic silence. No word came from Amundsen or his crew. The disappearance of Roald Amundsen sent a chill across the globe. The world mourned the loss of a hero, a pioneer, a legend. In the absence of definitive answers, theories about the disappearance of Roald Amundsen and the Latham 47 abounded. Some speculated that the plane had suffered a mechanical failure and crashed into the icy waters. Others suggested that the plane had become lost in the fog and low visibility, leading to a fatal navigational error. There were even whispers of sabotage, fueled by the political tensions of the time. Despite numerous searches, only scattered fragments of the Latham 47 were ever recovered. The bodies of Amundsen and his crew were never found. The lack of concrete evidence only served to fuel the speculation, turning Amundsen's disappearance into one of the most enduring mysteries of polar exploration. While the world grappled with the disappearance of Roald Amundsen, the rescue operation for Umberto Nobile and his stranded crew continued. Numerous ships and aircraft from several nations converged on the Arctic, their crews braving treacherous conditions in a desperate race against time. The search effort was hampered by the vastness of the Arctic and the unpredictable weather. Just when all hope seemed lost, a faint radio signal was picked up. A small group of the Italia survivors, including Nobile himself, had managed to construct a makeshift radio transmitter from the wreckage of the airship. They were alive, but stranded on the ice, desperately clinging to survival. The stage was set for a dramatic rescue. The news of Nobile's survival electrified the world, rekindling hope and fueling a renewed sense of urgency in the rescue effort. A Soviet icebreaker, the Krasen, eventually reached the stranded survivors and brought them to safety. However, the rescue of Nobile was not without controversy. Some criticized Nobile for leaving his men behind on the ice floe while he boarded the plane sent to rescue him. The fact that Amundsen had perished while attempting to rescue Nobile only added to the scrutiny. Nobile maintained that his decision to leave with the rescue plane was based on the belief that he could better coordinate the rescue efforts from a position of safety. However, the controversy surrounding his actions would follow him for the rest of his life. Despite the rescue of Nobile and his crew, the disappearance of Roald Amundsen and the Latham 47 remained a mystery. Numerous expeditions scoured the Arctic, hoping to find wreckage or clues. The harsh environment made the task daunting, but hope refused to die. Advancements in technology have aided the search. Sonar surveys, underwater drones, and sophisticated imaging techniques have been employed, yet definitive proof remains elusive. The Arctic, with its haunting beauty and unforgiving nature, claimed the life of Roald Amundsen, adding his name to the somber list of explorers who ventured into its icy embrace and never returned. Yet his achievements overshadow the mystery of his disappearance. Amundsen's name is etched in the annals of polar exploration, forever linked to the conquest of the South Pole and the Northwest Passage. He was a man of extraordinary courage and determination, with a profound respect for nature. His meticulous planning and efficiency, and his willingness to learn from indigenous people, set him apart. His expeditions were driven by a thirst for knowledge, expanding human understanding. Amundsen's legacy extends beyond his achievements. He embodied the spirit of adventure and the relentless pursuit of the unknown. His story inspires generations of explorers, scientists, and dreamers, urging them to embrace discovery. While Amundsen's explorations focused on the Earth's polar regions, his story reminds us that the greatest journeys are often inward ones. The Arctic serves as a metaphor for the uncharted territories within ourselves, the depths of courage and determination we discover when confronted with life's challenges. Amundsen's willingness to face the unknown and to risk everything in pursuit of his dreams speaks to the indomitable spirit within us all. His story encourages us to embrace the unknown and never stop exploring.